Welcome all to the penultimate round, round 20 in Brazil. As I'm going to come across the line to not only finish, but also start another quali run. I didn't plan on it, but as you can see, I'm already up 10th, I think, in medium ERS, so that extra time is clearly big dick energy, so I've decided to go for another run. Now, not trying to pull out the excuses early, but I've had no time to practice. I got a few hours in here and there, but been unfortunately a bit busy with, IRL work. So coming into the weekend, I wasn't expecting much. We've got Bev's hot on our heels in the championship, so it's important to keep him behind us. Thankfully, he joined late, so for me, it means he'll be starting from the back of the grid with a basic bitch setup. So, good news for us. Now, as we're coming up to the final corner, we are up by a fair bit, so I am glad that I went...
You're now in P7.
Yeah, so I'm down in P7 at the moment. Going to come across the line and we'll actually jump up into P6. Behind... Yeah, I've just ran out of fuel as well. Behind Brad as well, who's in P5. We're both not having a really good quali session there. And Brad is going to be behind Zylantos as well. And right at the top there, we've got Elite Alex. Skins is a new driver for Force India. He is Combat Rat's brother, I believe. So he is now driving for Force India. I don't know whether that's a permanent thing though. So, yeah, anyway. Let's move on to the race. You also may have seen Barefoot up in second place, which is unusual, but absolutely well done. I think he was only 3/10 off Skins, who was in pole position for the longest time there until Elite Alex pipped him. Anyway, as you can see, Jeff is recommending a 2-stop because I'd taken too much life out of my tyres in quali, which is a bit silly of me and not something I had considered when I went out. So I'm playing around with a 1-stop trying to make that work, but I think I was going to lose too much grip and potentially lose it at the end of the race. There was meant to be light rain at the end, so I just think I was going to lose too much grip. So we just have to do a 2-stop, I think, is what the strategy is going to be. But then Bev's disconnected, which meant we had to restart the lobby, which meant he got to put on a setup. I mean, it worked out being good for us because that means I don't have to do a 2-stop and I can potentially do a 1-stop. But look, I'm just saying it's coincidental. It's coincidental, right? So here we go then, 5 red lights, we're behind Zylantos. And we're away, Zylantos is too busy scratching his ass, so notice the lights are gone, so we say see ya! Brad's going to give us a piggyback into the first corner, almost lost the bloody front wing. We've got Drake Spartan right behind us as well. A few people finding some extra part of the track up ahead there, I think that was Skins. As Brad starts to get away from us in the first half of the top 10 do start to get away from us there a little bit. But we're just going to push on now. It's been quite a strong start from us.
That's a strong start.
Yes, thank you, Jeff. Thought about taking Brad around this corner, but it was just not going to have the power to do so. Used up all that big dick energy in my qualifying. It's pretty tight through that corner there. Almost thinking about having him through a couple of these corners here, but I've just had to back off. Just got to remember that you can't win in the first lap. Barefoot's still up in third. He's managing to hold Brad off him as well, so he's doing quite well. Brad's stuck in a Haas sandwich at the moment. I'm just starting to think and get the feeling that I might be quicker than Brad if I, can knock a couple of corners together. We're absolutely revving the guts out of the engine. Elite Alex puts in the fastest lap here. And that was your first lap. As coming to the first corner, Brad goes wider than the widescreen in my living room. That gives us an opportunity to take him through the third left sweeping corner. He can't quite get it done. We're going to pump it up into overtake, which I think it already was, actually. As we maintain position, we dive down the inside, but I've just pushed him wide. I have apologised over the radio. He is still there, and I think about grabbing the position, but I back off. I let him go. Because I definitely didn't take him fairly, and that could be a penalty after the race. So Gonna have to try again. He goes wide there again, and I've thought about it, and then, yeah. Just squeezed the throttle a bit too hard.
With the front wing, you've taken some minor damage.
In an excitement to try and take Brad, and we've just buggered the front wing. So, thinking now, do we pit early? Do we continue on with the race? It is always the case. You've got to think, have I really lost a lot of front wing here, or can I manage what I've got? But this particular time, well, not at this particular time, but for this race, I had decided that, what I think I can manage is says, I think Barefoot puts in the fastest lap. So, again, well done to him. Drake Spartan is giving us a bit of cause for concern behind us in terms of my overall pace. But it was too early to pit. I wasn't really sure. I wasn't thinking all that clearly about what would be the best course of action here. So it was what I was going to do is I was going to go into the 2-stop. I was going to do the super soft to soft to soft. Was going to be the plan. It wasn't a lot slower than the 1-stop from what I could see. We're only talking a couple of seconds. And I could. I'm not putting on the mediums, which are the slower tyre, and I think they were quite slow by a fair margin. So I was hoping that if I had 2 sets of fresh soft tyres throughout the rest of the race, that I might be able to make up a couple of positions and maybe undercut a couple of drivers as well, maybe get ahead of Brad in the pit stop. So that was the plan. Coming on to lap 4, haven't really lost a lot of time against Brad. Still have Drake Spartan quite heavily behind me. But we haven't lost too much time against Brad. I think he might be pulling away by maybe about a 10th, and then if he cocks up, I pull him back by about a 10th. So, or if I manage to do all right with my wing, one way or another. So I don't feel like I was losing too much time. But coming onto this last corner, got a little too keen and eager, and just let Drake Spartan around me, which I think was going to happen at one point or another. So I think it was probably best he did it now and wasn't pressuring me to try and keep him behind me. Lap, what's that, 12? We're going to put on the softs, we're going to put on a new wing.
Go.
So we're nice and competitive now. Pitting before quite a few people. We've got Bevs up ahead of us, Oswegian right behind us in the Force India.
You only have to stop once now.
Yep, one more stop left onto another set of softs midway through, I think about lap 20, I think. Almost hit the outside corner there. So it's going to be a race to keep Oswegian off us and try and catch down Bevs, put in a few fast laps, and hopefully pip a couple of people in pit stops. And really just need to be putting in fast lap after fast lap. There's no chance to take a snooze and just get round the track. I've got to be fast as I can with the softs, and hopefully people are doing a 1-stop and they're going to go onto mediums and I can catch up to them.
Safety car deployed. The safety car has been deployed. Watch your delta. Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack.
So, it looks like 2 people have come together. Drake Spartan and Barefoot. They've collided and we get a safety car, which I think is our first safety car since, I want to say, Spain.
Okay, slow down.
I don't think we've had a safety car for a while. So, this begs the question, what do? I'm sure there's going to be people pitting, probably for softer tyres potentially, or doing some sort of pit stop strategy. And I was sort of thinking the same thing. I've only been on these for 2 or 3 laps. So sort of
the safety car. You may overtake the safety car.
Safety car freaked me out a little bit there. It looked like he was trying to defend the position. So I'm thinking, do I pit? What do I do? In the end, I've decided I'm going to stay out on these tyres. I'm just going to be a bit nicer to them, because the rain is coming. I can't really remember what my train of thought here was, because if I pit onto mediums, well, I'm slow, but the packs are all bunched up. But if I stay on these tyres, I can keep them warmer. I don't have to pit and lose position. Because I'm going to gain some positions through people pitting now, I think. I think Bev's pits, and he's sort of up ahead of me here. So, decided to stay on the tyres, bunch up with everyone, be on a faster compound, and sort of just see how that goes.
racing again. The safety car is in this lap. When the field accelerates, remember, there is no overtaking until the green flags. Safety car in this lap.
Okay, so it's P6 after we've shaken out all the strategies. That little accident has brought me right back into this race behind Combat Rat. So here we go, we're going to put it up into 7th, just as we go green. And here we go, we are racing once again with Combat Rat and Bratto not far behind. And then from several postcodes back, Bevs. Absolute dive bomb, and probably potentially ruin my race with a damaged wing there. So, we're going to take Wired up here. Actually, I don't quite remember what happens here. I got a little, a bit too deep there, and I tagged Dan Man, and that's allowed some other people to get around me. Dan Man has then, hit the wall, and I just haven't had the chance to avoid that at all.
Strategy option.
Yeah, haven't had a chance to avoid that at all. And that's...
Got that confirmed?
Yeah, that's the race gone, isn't it really? I mean, I don't think I had too much hope after the second bout of wing damage, but that's definitely going to require a pit on the mediums. The line of thinking here was that I know the rain is coming, but I don't know exactly when, so hopefully, potentially, I might be able to stay out on the dries for like the last 2 or 3 laps if it's not going to be too bad. The mediums do work better, have a better working heat optimal range, so they can be a bit cooler and still be okay. I think that's how that works. So,
your lap times are falling off.
Yeah, onto the mediums was the strategy, and just sort of see how we go from there. Dan Man's lost it again, I think someone else might be coming in pits behind us. I don't remember, but onto the mediums to just finish out the race.
Light rain will stay with us for at least 20 minutes, maybe more. Light rain is here to stay. Dries seem like the fastest tyre at the moment.
So, now, not a lot happened until we got to lap 31. I've taken a couple of people by pit stop, Cobalt and Oswegian, namely.
Gap behind is 6.9 seconds.
Rain is now starting to drizzle. We've got 4 laps left. You can do these laps in a little over a minute, so if we said, 4 minutes 10, maybe 4 minutes 40, maybe more like 5 minutes, realistically. Was thinking, is the rain going to hold out long enough, or am I going to have to pit onto inters here? Was feeling alright for the first couple of laps, and someone did appear to have gone off there, and I've almost lost it as well.
8/10. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 18 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:15.4.
And as you can see, the car's just starting to slide around. I think I'm trying to ask Jeff here.
This rain could be with us for a while. Light rain conditions for the foreseeable future. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Yeah, no, he said dries seem like the best tyre, and I was just slipping around a little too much for my liking. So, I did decide, I think it was this lap, that we were going to go on to inters. Yeah.
Confirmed. We'll receive you at the end of this lap.
So lap 32 went on to the inters. It was just getting too slidey, and you will see at the end of this pit stop that and I got a 5-second. I forgot about that. I sped into the pits. I did do that. At the end of that, actually coming out of the pit lane, they do the race stewards do disable the DRS, so it was a perfect time to switch, to be perfectly honest. I was hoping that Combat Rat and Xylantos, who's I think ahead of him, hadn't pitted yet, so I was hoping maybe I could do a good stint on the inters while they slip and slide it around on the Combat Rat's on the super softs. So I was hoping that might have been the case, and I might be able to come back in and maybe grab a couple other positions, but it just wasn't to be, unfortunately. Yeah, but then on lap 34, you can see Combat Rats on the inters, so, just, as I say, unfortunately wasn't going to happen, except you can see there's some yellows there. Something's happened. Yeah, Combat Rat suddenly retires, and so does Skins. What? I actually don't know what happened. Both of them just suddenly retired. It looks like Combat might have gone off down the straight up here potentially, but I don't think I ever saw a body. Yeah, no, so I don't know what happened there. Potentially they might be able to shed some light on what happened there, but that is 2 positions for us, thankfully, and gives us some extra points. You have got to be fucking kidding me. Yeah, that is a hard pill to swallow. Thankfully he doesn't actually get P1, Brad gets P1 and Bevs gets down into second, but that is a hard pill to swallow, to be perfectly honest with you, ladies and gentlemen. Considering he started from the back, considering we restarted the lobby, I'm not saying anything. I'm not suggesting anything. 100% I don't think Bevs would have done anything, untoward to mess with the final standings, but it does mean... It does mean that we are level on points for 4th. There's no catching Maserati and Wire It Up, who are still battling it out for P2 and P3. But, yeah, it's coming down to the wire between me and Bevs. It makes for some good competition. However annoyed I was at that particular moment in time. There's the exact results. One more race to go. Actually, do have an announcement. I did come second. I have locked in second for the qualifying championship. So that's pretty good. I can wear that one pretty proud. But the main game is for 4th at the moment. So let's see what we can do next week.